you know? You haven't watched the course. How the hell
By
do you
your own
know?
by
Like,
your
how
own
do you know?
by your own admission.
Okay,
Just
well,
now,
look, let me ask
you're
you
not
if you
saying
here,
go
let's find out if this holds muster.
sure.
Well, if I ask you what are the 3 laws of logic? Can you tell me?
No.
No. Can I if I ask you what are metaphysics? Can you tell me?
No.
Can you tell me what epistemology is?
That is the knowing like what the truth is and the difference between a belief and or an opinion.
No. But it's still I mean it's still a good try. I'm not going to beat you up about it. But what about ontology?
No.
No. Okay, so the thing is like these are very basic forms of philosophy that most people kind of leave on the table. But if you had checked out the course, you would know that I brought in experts, guys who do have PhDs. Like,
Wait, what? She was arguing that Debate University is not an accredited institution. Yeah, it's not supposed to be an accredited institution. It's just like a debate course. What you think? Did she think you're supposed to go in there and get a degree from Debate University?
David Patrick Harry and others who are famous Christian apologists. And they sit down and go over what all of those terms mean, why they mean those things, and how you can apply them to your knowledge base. And it helps to equip you in the future if you are having ideological combat with a leftist, especially from a Christian paradigm.
But without any kind of measure or metric of expertise at the end of it, without some sort of guaranteed
Wow, this is ridiculous. I was just laughing at this comment. Dang it. I told my parents I graduated from a university. Dude.
level of if you have completed this, this is the knowledge that you will have, and this is the level at which you will be able to debate without giving that level of accreditation to it.
Accreditation from whom?
I mean, there are accredited, like the actual debate societies in America are
Do you
accredited.
think that I'm running some kind of actual polished college or something that you have a 4-year degree or an associate's degree at? Or did I market that I would build out a course that's roughly 7 hours that would assist you with debating ideologies online? Because I'm pretty confident that that's what I marketed. Now,
No,
if
but
you
that
have
is
evidence that I marketed something besides that, I would like to hear it and see it, but I'm 100% confident that that's exactly what I marketed and that that's exactly what people are buying.
I don't believe that you are dumb enough to think that your words don't hold meaning. And I don't believe that
Well,
you
I don't
just
think you're
use,
dumb enough to think, don't all words hold meaning?
of course, but
No, go
I'm
ahead.
saying that I don't think that you chose verbal combat and framed things as a war. I don't think that you chose university just willy-nilly because rolled
I
off the
didn't.
tongue well.
But I just gave you an accounting, which is completely reasonable. I told you exactly where verbal combat came from. I told you exactly what the inspiration for that was. I did tell you that I believe that there's a grounded ideological war going on between the right and the left and between these ideological paradigms. And that course will assist you if you are engaging in those ideological paradigms, which more and more people are. It'll assist you in crafting your arguments for those paradigms. That's the way it was marketed. That's the way it's always been marketed. If you can tell me what's actually wrong with that, I'd like to know.
Sure.
These comments, man, are like cooking her. This lady needs to explain to her that Debate University isn't an actual college. Is she aware Church's Chicken isn't an actual religious institution? Dude, I'm loving these comments. I always laugh when these people who debate against Andrew or against anybody, but against Andrew, like when they have a bunch of notes, like when they're losing so badly, but you see they have like a bunch of notes written down. It's like, how could you have all these notes written down and yet get totally cooked like this badly?
Sure. It's that when you phrase things in terms of combat or in terms of war, you actually trigger the fight or flight response of your audience.
Good.
You don't honestly believe that the right and the left are at a war outside of social media. There's
I
no
just
way.
want to let you know, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, okay?
Mhm.
But the left has, from my view, murdered an entire generation of human beings, murdered them. and is currently right now fighting on the streets in order to get the right to murder more of them. Do I honestly believe that? Not a joke, not kidding. From my paradigm, they literally kill babies by the million, by the millions. Do I think that that's a war, a spiritual war, and an ideological war? You bet your fucking ass I do. Do I think that there's an ideological battle which is going on when the assessors of these paradigms try to describe for me that you, a female, are every bit as much only a woman as the male who puts on a wig and pretends that they're you? Do you think I don't think that these are ideological battlefields? You're out of your fucking mind. Not only do I believe that 100%, but it can demonstrate it to you. I can demonstrate right now that we have been in a basically an ideological Cold War for somewhere north of 60 fucking years. Yes. Yes, 100% I believe it. Not only do I believe it, but I wanted to equip people with some way to combat that, some way to do that better because I happen to be very good at it. It's a skill I have.
Oh,
She's taking umbrage with Andrew Wilson calling his debate university a university when she calls herself a comedian. Like, come on, lady.
in fairness, I do think that you probably believe that abortion is murder, and I will agree that you believe that that part is actually violent and at the same level of a war. Fine, I won't try to say that you don't. If you are genuinely a Christian, you probably do believe that. What is this
So then you just
ideological
made a concession. So you just made a concession there
for
that
abortion?
I
Sure.
believe that we're in an ideological war.
On that one topic, yes.
Yeah, so I think that leftists are doing everything in their power to destroy Christianity from the ground up. I think that that's their entire goal. I think that we can see it in the models of the NGOs that give millions and millions of dollars to leftist infiltration units whose entire job is to go in and give retraining to clergy. I've covered this many, many times on my stream and given the NGOs out and shown the evidence for this. Do I think that that's ideological in nature? Yes. Yes, I do. Do I think that this is a battle? I do think it's a battle. Do I think that because we're not using guns and ammo and bombs and tanks, it's any less of a war? I do not.
I think that you're lying through your teeth.
Prove it.
Well, I mean, you have a tell of raising your eyebrows a specific way when you seem to get
Oh, you're gonna use
impassive.
psychology? When I use
Honestly, absurd.
when I raise my eyebrow, it's a tell of a lie? Okay,
Not
well,
that
here,
way.
hang on. Let's see. You're a beautiful woman.
That's not the way you were raising your eyebrows.
Sorry.
That's not the way you were raising your eyebrows to be the tell. But all I'm saying is that it's as the average human, I can see through a crock of shit when I hear it. It's very
That's
obvious.
nice.
Okay,
This is
so if you
this is what's called an argument from incredulity. It's
so
perfectly
in
acceptable for me to believe that you believe that I'm full of shit. But your job right now is not to tell me what you believe. Your job right now is to demonstrate that that is the case. Now, I'm willing 100% to engage with whatever it is you bring to the table
sure.
to actually demonstrate that you think that I'm lying. But this has been consistent with my online presence since I was fucking, I don't know, in my late 20s.
So then why do you not get involved in actual politics? Actual, like, on the ground politics? Why do you not run for anything?
Well, first of all, I'll tell you a couple things that I've experienced here, learning from different creators, especially. One, it does not transfer over well. Being very popular online doesn't necessarily transfer over very well to popularity in the mainstream. If you're a big movie star, perhaps like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Jesse Ventura, people like this, that can transfer over fairly well. You're a household name. When it comes to online popularity, however, that does not transfer over well for grassroots. And there's many content creators who've gone that route, like Sargon of Akkad, for instance, went that route. Destiny went that route when he tried to do canvassing campaigns, and many other did. And it was an abysmal failure, even though they're very popular online. It's very possible. I know you probably never thought about this, but the translation of the skill set that I have may not translate well to IRL politics, but may translate well to informing IRL politics.
Well, also too, like there's a lot more to it than just rhetoric. Like Andrew Wilson has good rhetoric; he can make good arguments. No doubt about it. If he's on the campaign trail, he could use that rhetoric, and he could also do well in debates when he's debating against, his opponents, like his whoever he's running against. But there's a lot more to politics than that. There's a lot more to politics than that. And so even if you go in, anyone who goes in there, it's like a whole different world when you're stepping into the world of politics. I mean, key word there, politics. There's a whole lot of politics in politics. I know that sounds dumb, but I don't know how else to put it. There's just a whole other word there. There's a lot more to it. And I think that's what some of these people who are influencers online, when they go into politics, I think they learn that the hard way, that, oh, there's a lot more to it than just having good rhetoric and good policy ideas. There's a lot more to it than that.
So you put in absolutely no work outside of just these online debates and streams for your ideology. That's your
No,
form of
I
engaging
didn't
in
say that at
combat.
all. I
So what do you
engage
do?
with politicians all over the place, assist them with arguments. I've assisted with grassroots campaigns, which have been spearheaded largely by a guy who works for me named Rob Knorr, who interacts with the RNC on a regular basis. And we've helped to change a lot of the conversation when it comes to this. But that and me being a skillful IRL politician are two very different things. Do you realize that politicians, for instance, have political strategists? They have speech writers. They have rhetorical trainers. They have people who assist them in all aspects of political strategy. It's not just oh, Andrew's really good and informed on politics, and so therefore he'll be a good politician. It doesn't always transfer over that way. And by
Exactly.
Why
the
not me?
way, nobody's better at knowing my skill set than me. Certainly not you.
I mean, I've seen your display of skills online. So
Have
Have
you?
you though? Yeah,
I've
have you?
seen more than I'd like. But why not hire those people? If you want to enact change, why
I
not
did
hire
hire
those?
him.
No, I'm
Any
saying why not hire a
anything else? I did hire him. What
why
do you
not
mean?
hire why not hire a political strategist? Why not hire a
I
speechwriter?
did hire one. What do you mean?
Oh, so then why not make your foray into politics?
Because
If you hired those
people go where they're effective.
and you wouldn't be an effective leader, you wouldn't be effective in
Well, now you're
politics?
conflating things. You think that leadership can only be confined to the political, but it's not. And the thing is, it's that's funny here. That's interesting, especially, is that why do I need to confine myself to the ideas of what you have for politics when clearly you don't know much about politics? I just walked you through. There's a multitude of skill sets that people have that would be applicable to the worldview. Some people are very good at being in front of cameras, IRL, and kind of delivering the rhetoric that way. They're very likable, perhaps. They have all sorts of various skill sets which would gravitate people towards them. But they also need people to craft arguments, to be supportive influencers, et cetera, et cetera. So just because I'm on one front of the ideological battle and not directly on the political front doesn't mean I'm not engaged on the political front. That's just absurd.
Would you argue that there are some people in this world that set a goal for themselves that they can never achieve? Would you say that that's a thing that
Um,
happens pretty often?
they set a goal for themselves that they can never achieve.
And that they know that they can never achieve, but they sort of make that their long-term end goal.
I don't know if I believe that or not.
Okay. I would argue that it's true. There's a lot of people that
Can you
make these
demonstrate it through something other than an assertion?
Sure, there's one of the talking points of the whole anti-feminist movement is there are women who say that feminism is cancer and they want to end the vote of the women in the West. That's never going to happen. They have
Why
to know
not?
that
Why won't it ever happen?
because of what we have in place just within our democracy. That's not something
Do
that
you
we're going to
realize that suffrage, universal suffrage, is a new idea?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So it's very convenient for status quo individuals to say that such things like this will never be repealed or contracted. When we look at Roe v. Wade, which was also part of the status quo and it was overturned. Political
Right.
ideologies change cross generationally.
Right.
And we're moving into a new series of generations as the boomers die off. I don't think you should feel as secure in the idea of suffrage as you seem to think you should.
I
That's
do
not what
feel
the political current is, at least that I see.
Roe v. Wade was not inscribed in the Constitution. Women's suffrage is. It's much harder to overturn an actual
So
amendment
was
than it
slavery,
Yes, and then it was
and then
ended.
it was exactly, and so was prohibition. The ban on alcohol was also inscribed in the Constitution. Women got that pushed through long before they ever had the right to vote. They were able to make, because they were set in a moral high ground, they weren't just political cogs, they were able to actually get an amendment passed long before they could ever vote. Isn't that interesting? So the thing is, it's really funny about this is like you can point to constitutional amendments and say it's inscribed in the Constitution, but remember, it's not really. It's an amendment to the Constitution. The Constitution's been amended many times and it'll be amended many more.
If we start to branch this way, then we're going to move into secularism and away from
Well,
the
I
Grifter.
would like to finish the discussion before we get
I
to
would agree with that. I want
before we get to your lack of understanding of the source material of feminism. I would like for you to just go ahead and demonstrate in very simple words why it is that you think I'm a grifter, because is your only evidence, your only compelling evidence, that you think that I used university in debate university, and that the people who buy the course are so fucking stupid that they think that they're going to get some kind of actual accredited degree because of that, and that therefore they're being fleeced and that it was marketed this way? Or are you saying something besides that?
I am saying something besides that.
Okay. What are you saying then? Make
I
it
am
clear for
saying
me.
Okay. I am saying that this framing that these online informal debates creates is that we are at this war, the left and the right. Everybody's at each other's throats and we're incredibly polarized. And I have had the privilege of traveling the country and also the world for my job. And that is by and large not the case. That is not what is happening on the streets and in day to day. It certainly is what's happening online in these spaces because they are very satisfying to the algorithm.
Yeah, I actually
It's
agree
high
with that,
drama.
point, that in your day-to-day interactions, things will seem like they're completely normal. They also did in war-torn France during World War II and in Nazi Germany. The entire nation's at war, and the ideologies are so incredibly over the top that you have rise of brand new ones like fascism and others. But in the day-to-day lives of the people inside of the state, not much changed until it
I'm s-
does.
I'm saying
Until it does.
I'm saying that the ideologies of the people are not at this high stakes level of war, and it's not these intensely polarizing communities.
Well, forgive me.
Yeah, no, I want to contend with that a little bit. Yeah, like it's true. Like if you could go to the grocery store, it's not like, oh, there's a war there, or you have to worry about getting in a political argument every time. It's not like that bad, but it is still there. Like there's a lot of people that can't wear like a Donald Trump hat or shirt or something, especially if you're like here in California. You can't like really walk around with that. I mean, for a while, people were afraid to drive their Teslas. Like Teslas were scared of being bombed, like firebombed, because of the political, the culture war that's going on. And so to say that it has no bearing in your everyday day to life, I think that's kind of true, but also kind of false. I think people like this woman here kind of want to underscore it. But I mean, how can you say that when real life things are getting affected by it, like TV shows, movies, like it's kind of everywhere. So to say that it has like no effect at all or anything, I think I think people like this lady here tries to like under like sell it a little bit. She tries to downplay it, is what I'm trying to say.
Me if I don't believe that you're having intense ideological discussions with your friends and people randoms that you meet on the street. I don't believe that that's the case because I don't even think it's possible. I don't think you're meeting random people on the street who are going about their day shopping and doing the various activities people do in their daily life and stopping them and saying, "Hey, by the way, do you think that ideologically leftists have killed millions of people through abortion?" I don't believe that you're asking them that. I think you would be shocked to hear the answers because pollsters do ask them that. And so the thing is like, while it's true that there's something called the normalcy bias, right? And you saw this during COVID-19. The normalcy bias, people will try to interact as they've always interacted, even as the world around them is falling
Yeah,
apart.
So
exactly.
you're incorrect in that assumption. That is
That's true.
exactly what I do. That is what I do for my day
Okay, show
job.
me where I can see that. Show me some
I
evidence of that.
Due to my NDA, I cannot reveal the shows that
Well,
I've
that's
worked
awful
for.
convenient, isn't it?
That's just the reality. I'm not willing to risk my job for this.
Yeah. Well, that's awful convenient that you say I do thing, but could never demonstrate to you that I do.
I mean, Once I move on from this particular show, I am happy to come back and let you know what the show was. But while I work on it, I'm not allowed to say what it is.
Well, whatever the show is, where
But
people are
that is
going
what I
out and
do.
asking about ideologies, if it is the case that you think that ideologies are not polarized right now in 2025, then you're just simply not telling the truth.
No, I am telling the truth, but that's what
Okay.
I'm saying is
Well,
that
then
you're
how come every single pollster and every single political commentator seems to disagree with you based on the current data of the people that they poll and what it is that they believe? Why is it that it's so ideologically brutal right now that we're waiting for constitutional crises? Why is Trump sending the military into various states? It doesn't appear that things are nearly so ideologically stable as you seem to be pretending.
For the
Exactly.
average person, it is. At the average person, all wants the same things at the end of the day. We all basically want the same things. We all have the same things that we're striving for. We're not actually that divided. That's my whole point, is that these online informal debates are fostering that divide. It's just pushing it forward. It's making you think this person is, this side, this ideology is out to get you. And I am the only one, Andrew Wilson, can sell you a course so that you're equipped
Oh
with
my gosh, this lady's an
mental and
idiot.
verbal armor. I'll give you the verbal grenades to go ahead and launch at your opponents. When in reality, it's not that. It's not.
So listen, so on one hand, she's saying that there's a lot of people just she's traveled everywhere, right? And there's not this culture we're going on in real life. But at the same time, though, all this online stuff, it's people are pushing this stuff online and it's leaking out into the real world. So which one is it, lady? Which one is it? Is it there's the normal world and the online world, and the normal world just it's not really that divided and everyone. First of all, what does she mean when she says everyone wants the same things? Like, no, we don't want the same things, and we are at war with some of this stuff. There are people who are against what they're trying to push in schools with all the LGBTQ stuff in schools and trans people in sports and such. And there are people pushing back on that. So, how can she sit there and say, no, no, actually, no, this is just online stuff? Like, no, it is affecting people's everyday lives. It's not just something that's just limited to online.
Nobody is actually benefiting from your ideological armor. It's just not happening, Andrew. Let's be real with each other.
Can you demonstrate it?
Yeah. Can you demonstrate that?
I can demonstrate that what you are arguing just doesn't happen in the real world. It only happens here online.
Then demonstrate it.
How would you like me to demonstrate it, Andrew?
However you can demonstrate it, I'm willing to listen.
I'm telling you that through my own experience of being
Oh,
out there in the world, and not just anecdotally, not just from what I have experienced, but
That's the definition of anecdotally.
just out in the world,
I'm telling you from my
and
own
people's
experience, but not telling you from my own
Yeah.
experience.
I am
Is
I
that
am
right?
speaking partly from my own experience.
And what are you
However, that
speaking
is,
what is the other part that you're speaking from besides your own experience?
if you ask people what their values are, what their core values are, they all pretty much line up. And that is true in the polls. People want their families protected. People want to feel safe. People want their lives protected. Now, the finer details, sure, if we want to get pedantic about it, we can. And that's where things differ. But a lot of these ideological wars are problems that are made up. And we think that they're bigger issues than they are.
Was was January 6th made up?
No.
No.
What
Okay.
does January 6th have to do
Well,
with
I'm just
political?
saying, I think it's really interesting that as we see unrest in the street, as we literally see what just happened in the California riots due to illegal immigrants, we see people say that what they want less illegal immigration inside of their nation, they want less diversity, they want less of these things overwhelmingly, and then overwhelmingly vote for a president who says that they're going to deliver on those things. It sure seems like an ideological divide to me on Main Street, not just from some elitist online or some rhetorician somewhere. It certainly seems to me like these are things that people take seriously and that they're having struggles with. Now, when you say this sort of nonsense like this, you say, hey, Andrew, look, we all have some shared needs. That's true. We all want to see our families protected. We all want food to eat. We all want safety. All of those things are true. But you realize the distinction between ideologies is how we get there. That's how we
Yep.
get to those things. The various ideas of safety. Let's take the trans movement, for instance. right? The entirety right now of the political polarization behind transgenderism is that women don't feel safe in their own sports, do they? They're tired of getting their shit pushed in. They're tired of getting their faces bashed in. They're tired of getting humiliated by men in wigs. They don't feel very fucking safe, do they? And so it becomes very ideological. It's funny, they want the same things you want. They want safety and this and that, but they seem to think that they're not very safe right now when it comes to this particular issue. And so other people, though, they do. And that's how you end up with ideological divides, right?
Are you framing that there's like a mass movement of trans women in women's sports right now? I can only think of a couple instances.
No, I'm pointing out to you something which is objectively true, which is the feeling of safety. When you
Yep.
say that there's shared values that people have across the board, I'm willing to concede that that's true because it's obvious. It doesn't even need empirical evidence, nor yeah, I think even a logical syllogism is necessary for this. It's observable by almost everybody on planet Earth. People have shared needs. Safety, one of the things that you cited, is one of those needs. But safety also comes at the expense of a feeling, doesn't it? I feel safe. It's not objective all the time, is it? You can be unsafe, for instance, and feel safe. But this is all branched around the feeling of safety. And women right now don't feel safe in sports, even if they're not dealing with any transgenders. And that creates ideological divides.
What
Yeah, exactly. Like she talks about like how there's people that want to feel safe. Yeah, of course, everybody wants to feel safe. But you're gonna have people like the women in the sports that are like, I want to feel safe. I don't want to be competing with a man where I could get hurt or even just defeated by a man. And then you're gonna have other people that are like, yeah, but trans people should feel safe too. They have the right to feel safe, and what makes them feel safe is by calling them their pronouns, letting them go into whatever bathrooms they want, locker rooms, sports. And so both sides are arguing from the point of safety, but that is, like Andrew said, where you get the ideological divide is, well, who's like, which safety are you more concerned about, and things of that nature. By the way, if you're enjoying this so far, give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. That'll be helping me out a lot. Also, hype this video up too. Let's continue.
can you point to that shows that women by and large don't feel safe in sports? Though this is not, I'm not even here to debate the merits of trans athletes, but I think that that's a bit of a claim to say that women in college sport or any sports
Mhm.
are fearful of that actively.
Do you agree with me that there's tens of thousands of anti trans activists in the United States?
I don't know. I've never looked at those figures.
Okay. Well, there are. Tens of
Okay.
thousands of anti-trans activists. I can point you to J.K. Rowling, for instance, who's a very prominent online figure, and her media has been seen by I don't know how many millions of people and made into movies and everything else. And she's a prominent, what is called, and I'll tell you what they're called. They're
Sorry,
called
can I
TERFs, trans
real quick
exclusionary radical feminists. And
fantastic.
trans, yeah,
Can
and
I
yeah,
real
go
quick,
ahead. Hmm.
so J.K. Rowling
Hmm.
feels unsafe in women's sports?
She feels that women's sports are unsafe, and many of the advocates
She's
who are
but she's
trying
not
to
a
push people
participant
out, yes.
but she's not a participant in women's sports.
Do you
So,
need to be a participant
yeah,
in
that
women's
doesn't matter.
sports in order to point
I mean, these people that fight on behalf of trans people, they're not trans themselves. They don't have to worry about it, but yet they fight on behalf of transport. So what's wrong with women fighting on behalf of female athletes?
out that women's sports is not safe for women?
Yeah, I would argue that if all of the female athletes in female sports, or the majority even, came out and said, "I do not feel safe within female sports right now," then I would say, "Okay, absolutely, that's a problem that we need to look
Well,
at." By
I
and large,
agree.
that's
I guess
what's
that's why so
happening.
many universities recently changed their policies so that trans athletes can't compete anymore against women if they're males. I guess they must have gotten some feedback from their faculty, which they did, and from their students, which they did, that they no longer wanted to have them participate. And you know what the number one reason that they cited was? They didn't feel safe.
So it's not even happening anymore. There's been laws passed to
It's still
prevent that?
happening. Yes, of course it's happening.
Oh, you just said that colleges have outlawed
I said many
that from
colleges have,
happening.
yeah, many
Okay.
colleges have reversed policies that they had on this, specifically because of the feelings of safety from the athletes who were involved in these various programs.
Okay, so now their athletes are no longer feeling unsafe?
And they're not feeling unsafe because ideology was able to reverse policy? Yeah?
Oh, I'm going back to what you were saying, where you're saying the number one
Uh-huh.
thing in and the number one issue with transgender issues in the
No,
US.
no, don't straw man my position. I didn't say that's the number one
I'm
issue with
not trying to.
transgenders in the US. What I
Okay.
told you, I was speaking to ideological distinctions and how the feeling of safety is paramount when it comes to the idea of trans sports. Not that that's the number one issue with transgender anything, only that I can easily use that as an example for how ideology transfers over to the mainstream and affects policy.
I have no background or information on transgender people participating in sports. I don't play sports,
I
as
don't
you
think you
mentioned.
have a lot
I'm
of
a
background
badass.
information on anything, honestly.
But fair
Because
enough.
you think that people don't have ideological divides on Main Street because you see
No,
them
I'm
buying
saying
their
that
fucking salads and their chicken sandwiches and not talking about how they hate the trans out in public, right? But the thing is so funny about it is
you
like,
think I'm a food reviewer?
no, no, no. The
Okay.
point that I'm making to you is that
I'm not
whatever
asking
whatever
people
your
about what they're eating.
whatever your anecdotal evidences are of people who are out in the mainstream due to the normalcy bias acting as though everything is perfectly acceptable is the same thing that you would find in war-torn France, war-torn Germany, war-torn Russia. People are always moving towards the idea of normalcy, even if there are major ideological divides. And by the way, you still haven't demonstrated in any way, shape, or form how I'm an actual grifter, other than you put university in the name of a course that you sold and marketed as a way to up your debate skills. And you haven't watched it, so you can't even criticize it, nor do you know what the guest list was that came on, who are PhD, by the way, PhDs. One, a PhD in religions. And the whole point was to show you how it is that you can make ideological arguments from a religious worldview and not look like a fucking stupid fool. And guess what? I had experts come in who did exactly that. Many prominent experts, in fact, and many more to come. So I'm not really sure how it is that I'm grifting.
And
Again,
on that note, I did want to interrupt and just let you know you are at about the half-hour mark for that. So it's up to you if you want to continue there.
I mean, yeah, it seems like this woman just didn't know what she was freaking talking about. You know what I've noticed too is like all these like Andrew Wilson haters, these people that want to debate Andrew Wilson, like they have no good arguments, so they have to resort to, well, he's just a grifter. Well, he can't open a pickle jar. Well, this, well, that. And they can't actually and it's because they can't actually win on based on the arguments. It's very rare when someone wins against Andrew Wilson based on the arguments alone. So they have to resort to all these copes that like, oh, he only debates OF girls. Oh, he's just a grifter. He can't even open an olive jar and all this nonsense, which shows you like how well the guy's doing when people can't successfully debate him and win on the arguments alone. They instead have to try to attack um they have to attack the debate university or just um that he can't open the olive jar and all these things that don't even really matter. And time after time again, I've seen enough of these Andrew Wilson debuts where I've seen where it's like what Misfit Patriot when he opened up his debate just coping over Andrew before the debate even began. um and it's like similar type of deals that where people are just starting to attack Andrew personally because they can't actually win on the arguments. So it sounds like this woman has no idea what she's talking about. Again, she's a self-proclaimed comedian, but yet she has problems with Andrew Wilson calling his debate university. Like if we all think, oh yeah, this is an accredited school, like of course he's gonna have to make money off of it. What I mean, he's a skilled debater. You're expecting him to sell his knowledge and expertise, like just give it away for free? Like obviously he'd be an idiot not to charge for that. So what does that just make him a grifter? Because he's selling his debate skills. And yeah, he has brought on other people. It's not just Andrew Wilson, it's other people that are PhD people, um, like experts at debate as well that are on there too. And he's looking to expand it too. But yeah, this is pretty entertaining. This woman actually knew nothing what she was talking about. Yes, as Nerd said right here, Smoky Man Bad Debate number 100. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But what did you guys think Wait, she's an OF girl? Oh, of course she is. Of course. But what did you guys think about this? Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed it. Make sure to hype up this video. I don't know what it does completely yet. I guess it helps you out. So just do that for me, please. Also, if you want to see this entire debate, go to the Raging Tomatoes channel. I have it linked down in the description down below. Make sure you give her a sub as well. And if you like to see more debates just like this one, I have more I have more Andrew Wilson stuff. I have plenty of more debates just like this one on the screen for you to click on and enjoy.